up? It's Richard Statifying Football. These are the Week 5, the 3:30, the midday games for college football. Starting off with the game of the day between Ole Miss and Alabama. Ole Miss is coming off a bye. 2 weeks ago, they beat Tulane 61-21. Keep an eye on quarterback Matt Corral. I think he may win the Heisman this year. He passed for 335 yards against Tulane, 3 touchdowns, and ran for 68 yards and 4 touchdowns. Rushing, he had 7 total touchdowns there. Jerry and Ely ran for 103. Jonathan Mingo, 6 catches, 136, and a touchdown. They had 707 total yards of offense. Alabama did what they wanted against Southern Miss, 63-14. Bryce Young right in the Heisman spot there. I think this whoever wins this game, I think, probably goes on to win the Heisman. Young, 20 of 22, 313, 5 touchdowns. Wardell Williams ran for 110 and a touchdown. Jaleel Billingsley, 5 catches, 105 and a touchdown. Jamison Williams, he only had 1 catch and went 81 yards for a touchdown, and he had 2 kick returns for a touchdown in that game. They put up 606 yards of offense. Last year, Alabama won this game 63-48, but like I said, Ole Miss put up 48 points. They had like 600-something yards of offense. I think Ole Miss wins. I would not be surprised if Ole Miss wins by a lot. I don't know when the last time Alabama got blown out. I think you're going to see it on Saturday. Well, big game in the Pac-12 between Oregon and Stanford. Oregon, they kind of slept their way through a win against Arizona 41-19. It was only 27-19 in the fourth quarter with like 7 or 8 minutes to go. Anthony Brown, 206 passing, 3 touchdowns there. Defensively is what won it for them. The first 5 turnovers, they picked off 5 passes, including returning 1 for a touchdown in the fourth quarter to seal it. Stanford lost to UCLA 35-24. Tanner McKee, 293 passing and 3 touchdowns. Elijah Higgins, 5 catches, 103 and a touchdown. I do think this will be a pretty close game. Oregon's picked to win by 8. I think that sounds about right. I'm going to say Oregon. I think they kind of slept through Arizona game. Maybe they were looking forward to Stanford. I think they get their offense going. I think CJ Verdell gets going, and I think Oregon wins that game. All right, Oklahoma and Kansas State. This could be a pretty big game. Oklahoma barely beat West Virginia 16-13. Spencer Rattler wasn't very good. 256, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. He was okay. He was fine. They won. Kansas State, though, lost to Oklahoma State 32-20. Will Howard started 4 of 12, 50 yards and 28 rushing yards. Jaron Lewis came in 148 passing, 1 touchdown, a pick. They did have a kick return for a touchdown there. I don't know what's wrong with Oklahoma this year, especially on offense. This could be a big upset. I'm going to say Oklahoma wins, but huge upset alert there. Huge upset. These are the kinds of games that Kansas State comes out and wins out of nowhere. All right, Ohio State and Rutgers. Ohio State destroyed Akron 59-7. CJ Stroud, I'm not sure if he's going to... He was held out of the game. He may play this week. We'll see. But Kyle McCord started and played pretty well. 319, 2 touchdowns and 1 pick. Garrett Wilson, 4 catches, 124. They put up 622 yards of offense. Defensively, they had 9 sacks. Haskell Garrett had 3 all by himself. They forced 2 turnovers and had an interception return for a touchdown. Rutgers lost a close game to Michigan, 20-13. Noah Vedral, 156 passing, 1 touchdown, plus 46 rushing. Isaiah Pacheco ran for 107. This could be a bit closer than people will think. Rutgers has been playing really well this year. They did keep it close against Michigan. I'm going to say Ohio State does end up winning just because they have a little bit more an offense going for them. But this will be a really close Ohio State win. All right, Troy and South Carolina. Troy lost to ULM 29-16. Taylor Powell, 311 passing, 2 touchdowns and 1 pick. South Carolina lost a close game to Kentucky 16-10. Luke Doty, 158 passing and a touchdown. They did force 3 turnovers in that game. I think South Carolina will win, but this is not going to be an easy victory. South Carolina is not a super strong team. Troy is usually one of the better Sun Belt teams, but I still say South Carolina wins. All right, this Shula Bowl between rivals Florida International Panthers and Florida Atlantic Owls. FIU lost a heartbreaker again. They probably could be 3-1. They're 1-3. They lost to Central Michigan Central Michigan got a touchdown with like a minute left or so. They lost 31-27. Max Bortenschlager, 395 passing, 2 touchdowns and 1 pick. Tyrese Chambers, 6 catches, 175 yards and a touchdown. Bryce Singleton, 6 catches, 173 yards. Defensively, they did have a blocked punt return for a touchdown, but they gave up 599 yards of offense. Florida Atlantic They lost to Air Force 31-7, kind of expected. N'Kosi Perry did not have a very good game. 11 of 33, 78 yards, one pick. He did run for 53 yards and a touchdown. Defensively, they gave up 446 rushing yards to that Air Force triple option offense. I think Florida Atlantic will be the one that bounces back this week. I think Air Force is a great team. Florida Atlantic, their offense will get going, and I think Florida Atlantic will win that game. All right, Syracuse and FSU. Syracuse had a pretty big win against a really good Liberty team, 24-21. Garrett Strader was terrible passing, 6 of 15, 170 or just 77 passing yards, but he did run for 53 yards and 2 touchdowns. This was all about Sean Tucker, the running back for Syracuse, went off for 169 yards and a touchdown. Defensively, they had 6 sacks in that game. Marlo Wax had 3 of them all by himself. FSU, they're 0-4. They lost 31-23 to Louisville. They were down 31-13 at halftime. Mackenzie Milton was okay, 248 passing, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Sean Corbin, 159 pass rushing and a touchdown. This might be one of the few games FSU can win. I'm still not sold entirely in Syracuse. They do look better this year. They are 3-1. They did have a really good win against a good Liberty team. For some reason, though, I think this will be the time that FSU gets the win. And FSU is even favored by 4.5. So I'm going to say FSU wins that one. All right, Texas Tech and West Virginia, possibly high-scoring game here. Texas Tech, they lost 70-35 to Texas. Tyler Shue, 9 of 11, 68 yards, 1 interception, 1 rushing touchdown. Henry Columbia came in and did well, 324 passing and 3 touchdowns. Kalen Geiger, 5 catches, 100 yards and a touchdown. They did put up 520 yards. West Virginia lost a close game to Oklahoma, 16-13. Jarrett Dagey, what kind of subpar, 160 passing and a pick. They did have 4 sacks in that game. This is kind of a tough one to me. I think West Virginia is a really good team. I think they can get Leonard Brown going. They have a good defense. Jarrett Dagey, this could be a pretty high-scoring game. I'm going to give the edge to Texas Tech. Maybe their offense blinds me as usual, but I'm going to go Texas Tech in that one. All right, UCF and Navy. UCF coming off a bye week. They lost their last one, Louisville, 42-35 on a last-second pick 6. Dylan Gabriel, unfortunately, he got hurt. He's out indefinitely. Mikey Keene will get the start. In that game, though, Dylan Gabriel had a great game, 184 passing, 3 touchdowns, plus 1 rushing, and had a receiving touchdown on a trick play. Johnny Richardson ran for 101 yards in that game. Navy, they lost to Houston 28-20. Arline passed for 83 yards, 64 rushing yards, and a touchdown. They kind of got their option going again. UCF coming off a bye, they were able to get their defense ready for this Navy team. Plus, this Navy team, even though it's triple option, they are not the same they were a few years ago. That being said, UCF cannot overlook this, especially with the new starting quarterback. I think Gus Malzahn will have them ready. I do think UCF should be able to win this game here. All right, Tulane and ECU. Tulane, they lost to a good CUSA team in UAB, 28-21. Michael Pratt, 296 passing, 3 touchdowns. He did throw 2 interceptions and a turnover 4 times in that game. ECU beat Charleston Southern 31-28. Holton Nailers 238 passing, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. Keaton Mitchell ran for 125 and a touchdown. They had 536 yards of offense. Defensively, they had 5 sacks and had an interception return for a touchdown. That game could be pretty high scoring there, but I think Tulane will bounce back. And Holton Nailers kind of makes too many mistakes at quarterback, and I think Michael Pratt will not. Central Michigan and Miami of Ohio. Central Michigan, they beat Florida International 31-27. Jacob Sermon passed for 121, a touchdown and a pick. Daniel Richardson came in, passed for 276 and 3 touchdowns. Lou Nichols ran for 152. Dallas Dixon, 8 catches, 127 and 2 touchdowns. And Khalil Pimpleton, 8 catches, 117. There, they had 599 yards of offense. Defensively, they had 5 sacks, which helped them get back into that game and win it late. Miami of Ohio lost a kind of a close game, 23-10 to Army. Brett Gabbert, 11-25, 193 and a touchdown. They only had 28 rushing yards there. I think Central Michigan, their offense is really good no matter who they have in. I think Central Michigan will win that game. Ohio and Akron, this is kind of a pillow fight. Both teams are pretty terrible. Ohio lost to Northwestern 35-6. Rourke wasn't very good, 166 and a pick. They turned it over 3 times there. Akron got destroyed. Ohio State 59-7. DJ Irons 115 passing, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. They only had 229 total yards. Ohio, they've been haven't really looked very good at all. Akron's kind of looked decent at quarterback with DJ Irons or Kader Nelson. I'm going to actually give Akron the victory in a very, very low scoring game there. All right, Bowling Green and Kent State. Bowling Green coming off a big win for them against Minnesota, 14-10. Matt McDonald only passed for 170. He did throw an interception, but he ran for 2 touchdowns, which helped them win. Defensively is what won it for them. They forced 3 turnovers and had 4 sacks in that game. Kent State lost 37-16 to Maryland. Dustin Crum 308 passing and 1 touchdown. Dante Cephas 10 catches, 151 and a touchdown. They did put 458 yards of offense there. I think Kent State will be the one that bounces back. Bowling Green had a nice win against Minnesota, but Bowling Green doesn't have the offense that could keep up with Kent State. All right, a pretty big game in the Mountain West. Nevada Wolfpack and the Boise State Broncos. Nevada's coming off a bye. A couple of weeks ago, they lost to Kansas State 38-17. Carson Strong 262 passing, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Romeo Dubs 7 catches, 121. Boise State finally looked pretty good against Utah State overall, 27-3. Hank Bachmeier 287, 1 passing touchdown, 1 interception, plus 44 rushing. Khalil Shakir 7 catches, 113 and a touchdown. They forced 3 turnovers there. This is going to be a pretty high scoring game. I'll give until people actually unseat Boise State, I'm going to pick them to beat Nevada, but that'll be a really, really close. Should be a fun game to watch as well. All right, the USF Bulls and the SMU Mustangs. USF, they were down 28-6 at halftime to BYU. They almost came all the way back and only lost 35-27. Tim and McClain looked pretty good, 186 passing, 55 rushing yards there. SMU, they won in a shootout against TCU, 42-34. Tanner Mordecai, he did pass for 245, 4 touchdowns. He threw 3 interceptions. He got to clean that up. He added 37 rushing yards and a touchdown. Ulysses Bentley ran for 153 and a touchdown. Trey Siggers ran for 110. Danny Gray, 4 catches, 130 and a touchdown, and 595 total yards of offense. I'm not so sure South Florida will be able to keep it close in this game. I think SMU should win. All right, Arkansas State and Georgia Southern. Arkansas State lost in a shootout to Tulsa, 41-34. James Blackman, 321 passing, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Corey Rucker, 4 catches, 115. Defensively, they allowed 663 yards of offense. They did have a kick return for a touchdown to keep it close there. Georgia Southern lost in a close game to Louisiana Lafayette, 28-20. Justin Tomlin, 175 passing and ran for 33. Gerald Green ran all over them, 186 rushing and 3 rushing touchdowns. This could be a pretty high-scoring game. 2 very opposite offenses. Arkansas State passes it all over the place. Georgia Southern has that triple option all over the place. I'm going to say Arkansas State will jump out to a lead here and be able to win. All right, Washington State and Cal. Washington State lost to Utah 24-13. Jarrett Garantano, 248 passing, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions there. Cal, they lost in overtime to Washington 31-24. Chase Garbers, 319 passing, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks, plus 71 rushing yards and a touchdown. Crawford, 8 catches, 107 there. They actually outgained Washington by 131 yards, but they turn it over 3 times there. I think Cal will bounce back. I think Cal gets the victory. Washington State, they have like 3 different quarterbacks. They're all kind of meh there. So I think Cal will get the victory. All right, Florida and Kentucky. Florida came off a really nice win against Tennessee, 38-14. Emory Jones looked really good. 209 passing, 2 touchdowns, and ran for 144 yards. I put up 505 yards of offense. Kentucky won a close, low-scoring game against South Carolina, 16-10. Will Levis wasn't very good, 102 passing and a pick. Chris Rodriguez did run for 144 yards, but they turned it over 3 times. They can't do that and expect to beat Florida. Kentucky, I think, is 3-1 in there, but they're actually 4-0, but they've kind of skated by with victories. I think they lose this one. I think Florida wins and possibly wins pretty big. As long as Emory doesn't turn it over, Florida should come out with a big win. Louisiana Tech and North Carolina State. Louisiana Tech beat North Texas 24-17. Aaron Allen passed for 137. J.D. Head came in 5 of 10, 70 yards and a touchdown. NC State had the big victory against Clemson, which I called. They won in double overtime, 27-21. Devin Leary 238 passing, 4 touchdowns. Emeka Emezi 14 catches, 116 and a touchdown. Could be a high-scoring game here, but I think North Carolina State. This may be a close game going into halftime. North Carolina State might be coming off that that Clemson high, that win, but I do think NC State will end up winning in the end. UNLV and UTSA. UNLV played a really good game against Fresno State. They only lost 38-30. Doug Broomfield, 6 of 13, 143 passing, 2 touchdowns. Cam Friel came in, passed for 138. Charles Williams had a good game, 102 rushing and a touchdown. UTSA beat a really good Memphis team to go to 4-0. They won 31-28. Frank Harris won 86 and a touchdown. Sincere McCormick, the running back for UTSA, ran for 184 yards and 3 rushing touchdowns there. I think UTSA with Sincere McCormick will keep UNLV off the field. I think UTSA goes to 4-0. All right, Southern Miss and Rice. Southern Miss got destroyed by Alabama, 63-14. Ty Keys, 11 of 24, 131, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, plus 41 rushing yards. They only had 213 total yards of offense. Rice, they beat Texas Southern 48-34. Jake Constantine, 271 passing, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Jordan Myers ran for 160 yards and 4 rushing touchdowns. Cedric Patterson, 3 catches, 108 and a touchdown. They had 620 total yards and turned it over 3 times. I think if they turn over 3 times against Southern Miss, they could lose, but I think Rice will end up winning that game. All right, Air Force in New Mexico. Air Force had a nice win against Florida Atlantic, 31-7. Zeke Daniels passed for 70 yards and ran for 164 yards and 2 touchdowns. They ran for 446 yards with that triple option offense. New Mexico lost a close game to UTEP, 20-13. Terry Wilson was terrible, 16 of 38, 160 and a pick. I think Air Force runs all over New Mexico and destroys them. Mississippi State and Texas A&M, a big game in the SEC. Mississippi State lost a close game to LSU, 28-25. They were down kind of big and almost came all the way back. Will Rogers was 47 of 62, 371 passing, 3 touchdowns and a pick. They actually outgained LSU by 143 yards, but they turned it over twice. Texas A&M lost like I thought they would. Arkansas 20-10. Two Arkansas 20-10. Zach Calzada was not very good, 151 and a pick. Isaiah Spiller had an okay game, 95 rushing yards and a touchdown. I think A&M's was way overrated. I think A&M loses maybe 3 or 4 games this year, and I think this may be another one. I got Mississippi State winning this one. Baylor and Oklahoma State, big game in the Big 12. Both of them ranked. Baylor 21, Oklahoma State at 19. Baylor, they beat Iowa State 31-29. Jerry Bohannon, 164 passing, 2 touchdowns, plus 1 rushing. They had a kick return for a touchdown to help them win. Oklahoma State beat Kansas State 31-20. Finally, Spencer Sanders looked pretty good this year. 344 passing, 2 touchdown passes, plus 1 rushing. Jalen Warren ran for 123 in that game. Tate Martin, 9 catches, 100 yards, and a touchdown. Defensively, they had a fumble return for a touchdown there. I'm actually going to go with Baylor here. Spencer Sanders has been inconsistent in his career. Jerry Bohannon doesn't have very many starts, but so far he's been very consistent, and I'm going to give that edge to Baylor. All right, Marshall and Middle Tennessee State. Marshall coming off a 1-point loss to Appalachian State, 31-30. Grant Wells, 270 passing and a touchdown. Xavier Gaines, 5 catches, 104 and a touchdown, and they had a kick return for a touchdown there. Middle Tennessee State lost a very fun shootout to Charlotte, 42-39. Chase Cunningham was great. 379 passing, 5 touchdowns, plus 65 rushing yards. They put up 502 total yards of offense. This is a game that's going to go back and forth. This is going to be a high-scoring game, but in the end, I think Marshall wins that one. All right, Liberty and UAB. This is a pretty interesting game. Liberty, a good offense. They did lose to Syracuse, only 24-21. Malik Willis, probably first-round pick next year. 205 passing, 3 touchdowns, plus 49 rushing. UAB had a big win against Tulane, 28-21. Dylan Hopkins, 240 passing, 3 touchdowns and a pick. Dwayne McBride ran for 111. They forced 4 turnovers in that game. I think Liberty will have, unless they turn over a lot, and UAB can force them to have a good defense, I think Liberty bounces back and will have a little bit too much offense for UAB to handle. UAB's picked by 1.5. I think it might go the other way. I think Liberty wins by like 14 or so. All right, the final midday game there, Kansas and Iowa State. Kansas lost to Duke 52-33, but looked pretty good on offense. They put up 33 points. Jason Bean had 323 passing, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks, plus ran for 54 yards. Devin Neal ran for 107 and a touchdown. Trevor Wilson, 5 catches, 122. They did put up 530 yards of offense in that game. Iowa State lost a close game to Baylor, 31-29. Purdy passed for 263 and a touchdown. Breece Hall had 190 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns, plus 5 catches for 51 yards and a receiving touchdown there. I think Iowa State. I'm going to put Iowa State on a bit of an upset alert here. Iowa State's picked to win by 34.5. I don't see how anybody could watch Kansas the past few games and still think Iowa State will beat them by that much. I do think Iowa State wins, but maybe by 14 to 20 or so. All right, that's the last one for the midday game. Check out my other college football games later. Peace.